Okay.
Just so you know. Okay. No, we haven't had anything yet. Hi, everybody. If you're coming in now, we're just waiting for a few more people to pop in. But no, we haven't. We have had a few here, and they're going through all these so-called restrictions, and I don't know nothing about. You know, I'm not going anywhere. So.
Yeah, wherever I go, I have my mask on anyway.
Yeah.
Unless I go shopping in the morning, I do so as soon as I get off of work.
Yeah.
Other than that, bring it back over here. I can put this other one there. Otherwise, I'm ordering it and picking it up. I have to get out the car and go home.
So that I haven't. I mean, the most I've done is like going back and forth to work, back and forth to rehearsal. But nothing else more. I mean, because if I don't have to, I'm not gonna. Pretty much like that. If I don't have to do it, I'm not gonna do it. I do want to go away so badly, but it's too much hassle. Way too much hassle. Can't do that. Just go check and see where everybody is, because normally they're here already. Sometimes
it is funny how much. Yeah, I was going to at first because I thought that normally we would be on by now, and I was like, okay, it's at 11:55. It's like, okay, I still have time.
Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute, St. Louis, is that 7 hours? I can't count.
I forgot lives. Turn this back on. Better yet, just don't have to worry about it. Okay. Yeah. So I
leave me all by myself. All right, fine.
I'm still here. Just there's a lot to worry about being seen. I know I will have to cut out a bit earlier than what I normally would. Because it's a new job. I go in. I work 11 hours or 12 hours.
New job.
Yeah. So as I got off this morning, I have yet to be asleep. I will cut out, actually get me some sleep before I have to get back up and go to work. And then do it again tomorrow because we have overtime.
Is that a good thing? Is that like more money with the overtime?
It's more money, but sometimes you know how it is. It's like the money's nice. I also want to go to sleep. It's like I want to go to sleep, and then it's just being able to be free to do stuff. Because as I said, I had to push back my editing of my show because I just didn't have the time.
Oh, okay. Yo, Dee, what's up? Okay, that noise did not have to be. I saw her. I saw the woman. I can't hear you, Dee. Oh, he's connecting his audio. Okay.
Yeah.
We will wait for you. Because we was talking about you. And there were people that were like, yay, Dee is going to be here. But Dee ain't even plugged in. I don't even know if he can hear me. He probably can't. I'll find that in a moment. Dee is looking like a disgruntled customer. Can you hear us yet? Okay, the noise has got to stop. Stop. Totally unnecessary. Forget it. Can you hear us now? No, he's still connecting. He looks so serious. Look at that face of fight, that face of I'm gonna get this.
Hello?
There you are.
Yay, we can hear you.
Technical. Could you hear me the whole time?
No,
No.
not until just now. And we thought, could you hear us?
No.
We was cheering you on, man. We were like, he can do it. He can do it. Come
I thought
on.
I could just plug it in and I'd be all right.
No, there's some.
Welcome to my studio.
We all have one.
Yep. Well, I can't be in the living room because my puppy is in there. And then
That's right.
Can't kick anybody out. So
Dee has a new puppy.
mm-hmm.
You know, his name is very known to everybody.
Yeah, his name is Omar Little.
Omar Little.
Omar Little.
She's like, Omar coming.
Yep. That's my dude right there.
Mind you, I have not seen the show yet. I have not.
Really? So
No.
sad.
I know.
I don't know how we're so close. I don't like people who haven't watched The Wire. Sad.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm watching. I am. I will. I swear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
20 years this year, isn't it?
What?
20 years since it came out.
Really?
Yep.
See, that's what messes me up.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that something like that, it's been 20 years since The Wire has been out.
Yep. I think it's 2001, 2002. It came out and it ended 2008. But it's, I mean, how many other shows are people suggesting you watch that came out in 2002? Because those shows were garbage.
20 years since The Wire.
Yep. Hello.
Hey, girl.
How's it going?
Fine.
Can y'all hear me?
I can
Yeah,
hear
we can hear you.
Cool.
We're
Like
talking
your
about-
hair.
Thank
Uh-huh.
you. I got. That's why I was late. I was trying to do a little razzle dazzle because I said, "Oh, these braids are really old. I got to figure a way to, do something."
My wife did my hair.
Y'all all into the beauties.
Yeah.
But you was all up. Yes, on the TikTok. Yes, I'm calling it the TikTok and
There
not
we
just
go.
TikTok.
There we go.
In your car. I'm just so proud of my Black people.
I love them very much. They bring me so much joy. My stuff is like, my news feeds and stuff, whatever, FYP, whatever, the word they call it. It's Black people doing crazy, amazing stuff. And I'm just like, yes. It's so cool.
I refuse to do it.
I get it.
Nah, my
I
kids
get
do it.
it.
That's all I ever hear about. On TikTok. Only thing I ever do is threaten to say that I'm gonna get my own channel and call it Their Name's Dad.
Oh.
And my
Dee,
14-year-old
you
is
should
like,
do it.
no,
You
please
should do it.
I mean, as a parent, I get it, but
Yeah.
also as an adult of an overprotective, crazy mama, don't do that. Don't embarrass us like that. And if you see this stuff, it's not really bad, but it's a little bit more like my mom would be like, "Ma'am, what is this?" Let me pull my shirt up a little bit. Let me sit up straight. My mom's looking.
Yeah, I don't have the app. I don't know anything about it. I just say, I only mention it in that concept because we hear about it about 5,000 times a day.
Yeah.
And my 14-year-old will literally correct me, be like, "Nah, they didn't say it on TikTok." I'll be like, "I'm a 46-year-old grown man. Don't tell me." I don't care what your little 18-year-old TikTok person said.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, starting to sound like my grandparents now, probably. That hippity hop.
Not that hippity hop.
Hippity hop.
That ain't music.
Oh,
It's just noise. They up there just fussing and cussing. That's all they doing.
My grandfather told me He was like, you know what the problem is they know you're a hippity hop boy. Hippity hop boys don't want to work. And that's why people don't give you a job. You got to pull your pants up.
What does every statement start off with that? You know what your problem is, don't you? It's never anything encouraging. It's like, you know what your problem is.
Nope.
In their defense, like if they could hear the music that is out now, I'd be like, you know what? It is trash. It absolutely is trash.
But it's not for us.
Had we known what it was going to turn into, I would be like, stop. Everybody, time out. Flag on the play.
Some of their music was out there too. You know, it is funny every now and then when somebody will give you a link to like an old song, and it's pretty much like the WAP of like 1932, and it's just like, what the hell? It's like, it's like because you're always confused whenever you watch like those biopics, and it's like people, and there's always somebody, mama, just like, you was down there at that blues club, wasn't you? And it's just like, why are they so acting so like you was down there with that Billie Holiday and that song she be singing. It's like,
and then when you see the actual footage. And they're grinding on each other in 1930 something. You're like, whoa!
They let y'all do
like y'all didn't do anything,
right?
And my dad was the campus brother of Little Richard when he left the music industry and went religious. And I always thought Tutti Frutti was a song that was like the version we heard growing up. I heard the real lyrics. That stuff was worse than some stuff daggone NWA did.
Get out.
Wow.
Look up the real lyrics for Tutti Frutti.
Here I go. Google.
Look them up.
And I'm going to read them words too.
Yeah, those things are, and that was 1950s?
But it was,
no wonder you needed Jesus.
Well, let me tell you something. I had rehearsal today, and I had first. We have now denounced that my dear friend was not on any kind of enhancement medication, and he was not too tired. He just was totally just. We were playing. There were two songs we were playing. Isn't She Lovely? But our drummer, he started drumming, and we were like, oh yeah, that's Master Blaster. And so he's like, oh, okay. So, but we were preparing to do, Isn't She Lovely? So they start, my keyboard guy, he's playing, sang the whole song. My drummer put his drumsticks down. He said, okay, how does Isn't She Lovely go? So we just sang that. What? He said, no, we didn't. Were you not listening to what I was singing? Because he was playing Isn't She Lovely? What were you hearing? No, he said, I was playing Master Blaster. Bruh, we were singing Isn't She Lovely? And he said, but I don't know Isn't She Lovely? And people were like, yo, what is it?
How old is he?
He's almost 30. He was dirt serious. He was dirt serious. He was like, and his face, I mean, he was stone serious. He's like, but I've never heard it. I never played it. Isn't She Lovely? You just, I was like, okay, play what you just played. And he started playing. I said, you weren't playing that. He goes, yes, I was. Bro, we started playing Isn't She Lovely? My keyboardist, he started playing what he was playing. It was Master Blaster. He was drumming Master Blaster. My keyboard went into it playing Isn't She Lovely with the Master Blaster drum. They went together. And then he said, wait, let me try this out. Keyboardist, he played Isn't She Lovely? And then he went into Master Blaster. They both ran into each other. I was like, okay, Stevie was running the same drum lines and just slowing it down an ounce because he slowed down just a bit, but he was still playing the same darn drum line. Same drum line to Isn't She Lovely for Master Blaster because he played them both. He played them. I was like, man, don't Google. I was like, okay. I said, okay, you weren't on drugs. Okay, you didn't understand what we was playing. And then we played Master Blaster, and he said, I've just been playing the same thing. I was like, all right. It worked. I can't. I was like, no, I cannot. But how are y'all doing today? How are y'all? I'm so glad you're here. This is the Zooming in Comfort for December, and we are talking about the holidays. The holidays in which I don't know how many people have had because no one can go out to people's homes unless y'all have done that. I don't know. Or if you guys are going to go anywhere for the holidays. And what have you eaten? I'd like to know because I had no Thanksgiving. So let's start with Thanksgiving. How did it go? Don't look at me like that. I didn't. I'm sorry.
Why? Why did you not eat the foods on the Thanksgiving?
Because I didn't make the food yet for the Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Well, I do things. I'm an American club, and we do a Thanksgiving every year for the mission in town.
Yeah.
So we do a whole big dinner there that we can sit and eat, but just that, you know, it's just like on your own with your home. When you see all the food, you just don't want to eat. So they made dinner, and I figured, okay, I'll make my Thanksgiving. Maybe we can invite 1 or 2 people over, you know. Mother was like, nope. I was like, okay. So the turkey is still in the freezer for the 2nd year in a row. I think I might just take it out, cut it up, and like make it for Christmas. But I have had no pie. I had no sweet potato pie, no pumpkin pie, no apple pie. I haven't even had the cranberry sauce, and I want the stuffing. So, and soon come. So you all must tell me how it is on that day of thanks. And how much pumpkin pie did you eat? Oh, y'all are all quiet. No one had pumpkin pie?
I didn't. I'm in Sweden. I'm with you.
No, my mom does not allow pumpkin pie in her home. No, ma'am. She makes sweet potato pie, and that's what we eat. I don't even eat this. Yeah, I don't even eat the sweet potato pie. Don't tell nobody. I'm still really black. It don't wash off, but I don't enjoy the sweet potato nor the pumpkin pie. None.
Why not?
Messed up.
You eat the
I'm sorry. I'm a texture person. I don't like the texture.
Okay.
Like if I get like a slice that's not even like half the size of my pinky and like eat it that way, but I don't like the texture. It's the delicious flavor. I just don't enjoy that texture. No, it's not really.
If it was a bit firmer, do you think you would like it better?
Maybe like half playful and maybe like a crunchier bottom, like the pie to crust ratio does not work for me and my no.
Maybe you can make your own next year or for Christmas.
You see her face? Did you look like she want to make her own food?
make Mo's Mo better pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie or whatever.
No, I'll pass. And I will while my mom's, making it. She'll be like, taste this, and I'll stick my spoon in it before, she puts it in the oven. So it's just like, and I'm like, oh yeah, that tastes good. But once it's baked and it's that.
Giving your mom's bad Yelp reviews?
No, it's delicious. Don't tell her, oh no. It's delicious pie. It's everybody else's favorite, just not mine.
3.5 out of 4 stars.
Oh.
It was good before it came out the oven. I like the atmosphere and the company.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mommy. They twisted my words. I promise. That's not what I had said. It's delicious.
It was presented well.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
And they spoke so well.
Yeah.
That's true. You could try Danny's recipe. Whitney said try Dan. I'm gonna try that actually. I have to because I haven't made anything. I got sweet potatoes up in here. I got pumpkin because I usually make it with I've done it with the acorn squash, and I've done it with a regular pumpkin. Just baked it and then take the flesh out and do it fresh because I'm in Sweden, and sometimes things are lacking here. Canned pumpkin was one of them. When I first.
since you make it fresh, how many pumpkins does it take to make one pumpkin pie?
One.
It takes one. Okay, because when I think about like the flesh of the pumpkin, it's like all the seeds and all that other junk in it. So I figured you would have to discard most of it.
No, yeah, I scrape all the stuff out, and then once it bakes, and then you have to cut all that out and mash it all down, and then you have to let the water drain out of it because it is filled with water. So
yeah, see, all that sounds too much.
Yeah,
it was a lot. When I did it initially, because usually I can take the can, I said I'm gonna do it fresh, I'm gonna do it right, and I baked them, and it took a day for them. I was like, come on, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like if this doesn't come out good, I'm gonna be pissed. It's like doing all that work. It's like putting aside half a day to make something, and then it's just like, I forgot the sugar. I would just throw it across the room if like I forgot something, or if it baked too long.
No, unfortunately I didn't. It was for a restaurant. I was baking those for their Thanksgiving, and I did it with fresh pumpkin. I thought to myself, never again. Not for other people. I'll do it for myself, but I don't even want to do it for myself now. But I want a sweet potato pie. And I want stuffing. Please let me tell you something. I found out really early when we did these Thanksgivings over there. Stuffing is not the thing that they like. They left all the stuffing, and I was like, okay, let's not do that again, because we made a lot. Because it's like over 100 people that come in and out of there. Nope,
it's my favorite. That is my favorite.
Absolutely.
That is my favorite. Absolutely. My little cousins came. It was only 2 of them, but they came, and there's usually just like 5 of us for Thanksgiving anyway, maybe 6.
Mm-hmm.
But then my little cousins came, and my mom did not adjust her portions, and my cousins came and they ate my mother's dressing and took all her delicious food home with them.
What do you mean took
it home?
They
packed them some to-go plates for their families and stuff. And so when I came back the next day to get some of my mother's food, it was gone. They're not invited to Christmas.
You mean your former cousin?
Yes. They're not invited. If y'all see this, y'all are not invited. Yeah. My mama can say y'all come, y'all cannot come. Y'all cannot come. Cannot.
Don't ever refer to me as family again.
Yeah, no.
That's cold.
Yeah.
That's cold.
See, that's what I never liked. I liked it, but people making a habit of taking all of it and then going.
Now, to be fair, back when I was in the States, I had a routine on Thanksgiving. I would go to my grandparents' house first, then I go over to my aunt's house, then to my cousin's house, and I collect food on the way, which fed me for the next week or so.
Oh, that was you. You did Thanksgiving drive-by. You had the Thanksgiving drive-by with your own Tupperware. Did you bring your own Tupperware?
No, of course not. I returned Tupperware. But to be fair, I went to people who cook for lots and lots of people. Mm-hmm. So the portions, they were like trying to give me food, which was great. I enjoyed it. And that's the way I think of Thanksgiving, because it benefited me and saved me a lot of money for about a week and a half. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say you didn't have just the paper plate with the foil on top, and that was just the go.
No.
Fancy.
I need to have it in a container so that it can
stackables
correctly. Plus, I need to be able to look into it, because the foil, you have to lift it up to see which one is the stuff you have to eat quickly. If you can look into the top of it, then and you can make sure you don't waste any food. So I was raised to not waste food. Just wanted to take a quick Thanksgiving break to thank the original song, which is called Barrel House Annie. If it don't fit, don't force it, because you're going to make your mama mad. If it don't fit, don't force it, because you're gonna get it bad. change the lock because you stayed up till 4. If your key don't fit, you try to break down the door. If it don't fit, don't force it because you're going to make your mama mad. If it don't fit, don't force it because you're going to make your mama mad, blah, blah, blah. And then now it may stretch. It may not tear at all. But if you never pack that big mule.
What is going on?
Up in my stall. If it don't fit, don't force it. This is the original lyrics to Tutti Frutti.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
You talking about that butt?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that when it was like it was talking about anal, and I said, "Oh, off. I'm done. I'm good. I don't need to know no more."
But you know the funniest thing about Little Richard, because I used to be around him, is that the disconnect people have. He was a sex symbol like Luther, and I never lived in that alternative reality. So I remember being a kid and hearing aunties talking about, "Whoa, can't wait to go to that Luther concert. He's fine."
Don't you make fun of Luther?
My mom loves Luther.
Of course she does.
My mom loves Luther.
Of course she does. Oh, good Lord. If it don't fit, don't force it.
Oh, Kevin was gonna be here, but he has to go put out a fire.
Oh,
yeah. That's what I said. I said, "Oh man," he was the one who was like, "Ooh, Dee's gonna be there." I'm like, "You missed it now, bro."
Yeah, he said he'll be here as soon as he can. But no, yeah, Luther was a sex symbol without having to dance. He'd take his shirt off. He wore that suit all the time. He moved. Right, had that curl. Sometimes was with
fat Luther.
Yeah, fat Luther.
We ain't talking about skinny.
Right. He did a little bit of this every now and then. You know, shoulders, maybe the hip. There wasn't no movement down past that hip.
Voice though. That voice.
Oh,
the voice.
The voice.
Yeah, melting.
Yes.
That voice was.
And now that I'm older, I can appreciate it. I'm like, oh yeah, I see.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was younger, I didn't like him because I was like 8 or 10 when he was out. And I didn't like slow songs. That made me have to think about girls and stuff like that. I was anti-girl until about 2nd or 3rd grade.
So wait, who was the girl that changed it for you?
To get all into that. She could run fast. She was really cute. She had a Jerry curl. I wanted a Jerry curl. I was very upset I couldn't get a Jerry curl. My grandmother said, "You're not getting that greasiness in your head, boy." My grandmother was a genius. But after that, I was good. Yeah. But before that, that's singing about girls and love. Disgusting. So I wasn't a fan of it. I like Prince songs, but only the fast ones. So
Just
what do you do when you're a small kid?
A quick moment to talk about how talented Prince was. Just since we're on the subject, guitar, piano. What else did he play? Because I know he played more than just
bass. I think he played as well.
He played 30 instruments.
Yeah, he did all the stuff.
The thing that they released from the vault that blew my mind, nothing compares to your original version, made me forget about the Sinead O'Connor. I don't even recognize that as a song, because he did this as a demo and it murders. In fact, it makes the Sinead O'Connor version sound weird because she's using his lingo, which is weird.
Oh, sweet. That reminds me of somebody in the Discord. I can't remember who it was. It was Cher and some generic group of white boys. They were singing. They were singing Stevie, or they were attempting to.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of that scene in Undercover Brother where that white girl was just like, "Oh yeah, Donnie whatever is doing the version, is doing the thong song, and I heard he got all the funk that Cisco left out." That's what it was like, because they were up there trying to dance, and they were singing. I was just like, and just looking at the comments, I was just like, oh, these are white people. They were just like, oh yeah, they were so great. They were great dancers, and oh, they just sounded so good. I was just like, and I fought the urge to go in there and just ruin these people good time. I was like, I'm not gonna do it, because this it's not for me.
But standards are lower in certain areas. You know, I actually didn't realize I suffered from very high standards. I went to a HBCU, which is flat out the greatest singing place ever, called Oakwood University, and Take Six is from there. I used to watch Take Six every weekend. I was tired.
I have every Take Six CD.
Yep, Take Six is from there. Brian Mcknight. I hated Brian Mcknight because his album came out my freshman year. Every single college dorm played it everywhere you went. Got so tired of hearing that thing. When you're in it, you have no concept as to what you're experiencing. And at Oakwood, every single person can sing. They used to have A&Rs come down and sit in our church service and sign people the next day. And so when I moved away from Oakwood, I then understood that not everybody can sing.
And then you came to Sweden.
Then I came here, and because Oakwood's choirs win every single award there is, worldwide, best choirs. Look up the Aeolians and look up Dynamic Praise. You have never heard anything. This was my everyday, regular stuff. I would sit in church or auditorium, and they would sing quiet and fill up the whole place. Like, this isn't some like forcing it and over singing. This is like sing quiet, like super quiet, but the whole place is filled. And I thought this was just normal. And I remember someone was like, "Oh, you can't wait till you see this singer." And I was sitting there looking like, "Oh, this is the one you were talking about?" Because I literally grew up around like genius people. Prince went to Oakwood.
Hey, just bragging. Leave us alone.
Right.
Okay.
So you sing?
No, me? No.
Yeah.
I'm still probably better than the average person.
Better than me. I cannot do the thing.
I would never say I sing because I'm used to people who could sing. So I would never.
He's better than the normies.
Yeah, I'm better than normal.
You know what you're saying? It reminds me of I watched some of Kevin Hart's new show, True Story.
Yeah.
And people were talking about how good Kevin was and all these other people. And then it was like, oh well, yeah, it's Wesley Snipes. It's just like, and it made me think about kind of what you were saying, and some other actors just like, it's like that's the problem with always being so good at what you do, is that when people see it, it's just like, oh, well, of course you're good. It's like, well, that's just, it gets to a point to where you no longer get accolades because, you're just like, Wesley Snipes, besides kicking people in the face, he is a great actor. Not many people can do the, he has great comedic timing. He can do drama. And for a lot of people, it's difficult to be in that realm of serious, but also, while still seeming human. You know what I'm saying? And, Kevin Hart was good. And the thing was, most people was just like, well, Kevin Hart was good because we're not used to seeing him that way. But like Wesley Snipes did Kevin's movie. He was in the sequel to Coming to America to where he played a completely different type of character. And then
I tried to make it through that movie.
It was not.
No. You have to understand. You have to understand that it was just for Coming to America 2. And that was just the reminiscence of, remember this character in the first one? Remember this character?
They should have made a short. They should have made a 30-minute YouTube short. Look Who Came to America. Call it that. Look Who Came to America, and then just did that. It's like
garbage. It was garbage.
The first part was good. Him getting his son. Him supposed to hold up. So I'm supposed to care that you met this chick, and in 3 days feel like you want to marry her and ain't nobody trying to stop this. It's like, y'all ain't got no real, she cut your hair. That's y'all's connection. And
that's what Whitney.
You have to be a hopeless romantic.
That's not romantic. That's not romantic.
Someone in your hair is a very intimate thing to have somebody in your head.
Yes, it is. But they had no chemistry. Okay, there was nothing about them to be like they even see. If you want to be honest, he had more chemistry with his sister, who they didn't get along with at first. If it was a different type of movie, I'd be like, they had the traditional. She hates him, but he eventually wins her over by showing him his true personality, and she lightens up. That's how their interaction was. They had that classic but tired trope, and then you had some random girl who her accent slipped back and forth, but it was just like,
we're out here appropriating the motherland.
Right.
Get some actual African actors. Get Idris Elba or something in there. Get somebody.
But it was it was sad to see Hakeem do all that to come back to Africa, and he grew up to be a punk.
I couldn't finish the movie. It was that garbage.
It was a
garbage.
He was a punk. He had all these balls and run off to America 30 years ago. They came back home. Well, my daddy said that it's like, bruh, it's like, the girls
you
can't.
Patriarchy when you come back to your sons, you always won't be charged any old way.
But he was a punk. He was a punk for not.
Not what?
For not standing up in a way. It was not as good. Well, know what? And here's the thing: it's not even that it was not as good. I don't even think there was some, like I said, there was some funny parts, but those funny parts did not make a good movie.
Nah, the movie is Eddie Murphy wants to do a movie. People are like, "How much money do you need? Here you go," and you give him money. But the problem is Eddie Murphy's been living in his enclave for forever. This is a telling sign when people get so famous that everyone around them never tells them the truth. What do you think you're seeing with Will and Jada? They've been so famous, so rich for so long that they think that their everyday business is something that everybody wants to hear. I'm a married man. I applaud anybody trying to make it through their marriage, become better people. I don't care to hear everybody's business. But what they do is they overshare because they have 30, 40 people around them on the regular that laugh at every joke, think everything they say is deep. I mean, even your boy Kanye I don't pay attention to a word that dude says because he obviously needs somebody like me around him. By the way, Kanye hit me for only $30 million a year. I'll sit around and tell you how whack your ideas are.
I'm like, I stopped paying it. I stopped paying attention to Kanye.
Quiet. I'm gonna mute you now.
No, Kanye's been tripping for a minute, and people. Okay, here's my thing.
Get some help.
Right. Here's my thing. When people like Kanye start tripping, everybody has these excuses to why. Well, his mom. It's just like, well, he needs to get some therapy. I don't. It's like that. At a certain point, it is a thing of just like when he has resources, he has money and resources to get help that he needs. That they don't give that same. They don't give that. People don't extend that same grace to people who don't have those resources, who are going through the same thing.
Yep.
Somebody else can, somebody without all that can be going through something. Yep. Kind of have a break or whatever, and people will write them off. And it's just like, well, they can't get help. They can't, but Kanye does it. Oh, well, he's a musical genius. It's like, okay, well, most of the stuff he's talking about ain't about music. He's up here talking crap about Rosa Parks. I mean, not Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman and all this other stuff, talking about slavery that sounds like a choice. And it sounds like you're making a choice to put your butt out there. And he's just coming out with just stupid stuff.
It's like Michael Jackson. The one thing I always give him a pass for was he was famous before he hit puberty. That's an important distinction. So that means he really never lived a real life, ever. And so I always kind of felt sorry for him with some of those things. But it was Chris Rock that pointed out when your boy from 60 Minutes was talking to him, it was like, Michael, did you sleep in the bed with the 12-year-old boy? And he was softballing it to him. All he had to do was just knock it out the park. No, I did not. That's insane, unless it's my own kid. And he was like, yes, of course. What's the most beautiful thing to do but to share your bed with someone? It expresses love. And you could see, what was his name from 60 Minutes? Black dude. Ed.
Not Harris.
That show was going to say Harris. It's like, that's not it.
Not Burns, is it?
No.
Yeah, Burns the white dude.
You could see that he was like, come on, Mike, come on. And Mike was like, yeah, well.
I remember that Chris Rock was like, he tried everything to make him seem human.
He tried to help him out. Yeah. But the thing was like that dude just didn't have a context of reality. And all the people around him were using him and all this kind of stuff. So in that context, you should be able to use him as an example. If you blow up and you get to the point where every joke you say, people are falling on the
Ed Bradley.
Ed Bradley, that's right. Yep, loved Ed Bradley. That was dope what he did. But if you get to the point where no one is checking you ever, then you need to get a different crew. You need different people around you. And a lot of these people that you see, it's not interesting to me because I can understand that their day-to-day problems are serious problems and you have a lot of things that you go through, but you have to have a grounded centeredness. Because you see this with a lot of people when they get big. Their next album is about how the paparazzi and being famous sucks and having a lot of money is a problem.
Okay, what any else said? Yeah, I still like Coming to America too. I enjoyed watching them.
Nobody
enjoyed the party when they were doing the Humpty Hump, do the Humpty Hump. I love all of that.
Nobody is saying that you could.
Nothing like using a 32-year-old reference.
Nobody is saying that you're wrong for liking the movie. We're just expressing what we felt didn't.
If it makes me happy,
and I agree. It was a movie that maybe should have went. Well, it did exactly what it should have done. It was not in the theater. Put it that way.
Right.
It was not.
If I would have had to pay
exactly.
If I would have had to pay theater prices for it.
Exactly.
Eddie would have had to break me off some money. We're like, hey, I would have ran up on Eddie like I would have ran up on him like Black Gumby. It's like, hey, damn it. You ever see Saturday Night Live when he played Black Gumby?
Yeah. Oh my, yes, that was like how long ago?
Since we're bringing up old stuff like that movie did, it's just he also came back and hosted and reprised that role. But no, it's
oh my god!
Like I said, there were parts. I mean, there were definitely parts I laughed at the movie.
Yeah.
But like I said, for the most part, I was just like, yeah, this is right where it needed to be.
Exactly. That's how I felt. Because if I had paid the money to go see that in the theater, there would have been other discussions of this film.
I got COVID catch watching this daggone movie.
This is triggering me.
Triggering you how?
Yeah, 1996 or 7. I invited everybody over on a Saturday night, and I paid pay-per-view. And people were like, "Yo, you want $5, $10 so you can cover your costs?" Pay-per-view was $69.99. And I was like, nah, I just want y'all to have a good time because love from my heart. I'm a 22-year-old. I'm just trying to show my friends some love. And we turned on this fight. And about 90 seconds into the fight, Mike Tyson bit.
Oh.
You know what, my so-called friends, may they all die in flaming car wrecks, said to me after that, man, I'm glad I didn't pay for that.
Mm.
But I'm letting go. It's all right.
Oh yeah, we could tell. We could tell you have
I'm
forgotten
letting
that.
go. Right.
Long gone.
Not a problem. But if I see Mike Tyson, I'm not gonna fight him. I'm not stupid. I'm gonna be like,
Right.
yo, throw me
Right.
$70 plus interest.
Okay.
Right. I knew that statement was going to end with "I'm gonna fight him." It's like yeah. It's like yeah. It's like no. He's not good comparable to boxers now. But he would just as you said. It's like you can say you better than normal people. It's like, but no, you're not going to say that. It's like yeah, I wouldn't fight Tyson.
Did you see him with that workout video?
Yes. I was like
he's still Mike Tyson. He is still
Right.
Mike Tyson.
I'm way taller than him.
Still.
I'm 6'4". I got that reach. He would murder me.
he all body shots. You
You come down
way
like
more
a
than
tree.
he does. Hey, I'm 6'4", about 250. I would be like, yo, the average person I could drop just out of sheer my actual size. Mike Tyson, my fist wouldn't even get close to him, and he hit me about 45 times.
I keep seeing they keep showing me videos of Tyson because of different things I watch on Instagram. I saw him hit this because Tyson is a small dude. He's kind of short. So most of the dudes he fought were taller than him. He's boxing this dude, body shots. He caught him in the face. Dude he hit the ground. He looked up like, hey man. He knocked that dude back into childhood because the way he looked was just like we was supposed to be playing. We were supposed to be playing, and you weren't supposed to hit me. He knocked him into a memory. It was just like I'm telling Mama that you hit me when she get home. She told you to play with me while she was gone. You supposed to be.
You ain't getting no cookies.
Right.
But my favorite one knockout with him is Michael Spinks, because Michael Spinks made the terrible decision to have a luscious Jerry curl and be a boxer. That was the dumbest thing you could possibly do.
Not the juice out there.
The whole juice came out. That was a whole bottle of activated. It was a whole bottle of activated. It looks so terrible.
Turned to a splash zone. Just smacked him. Just the whole watching slow motion. You see the juice.
Oh, it's the worst. You have to watch that one. Yeah, but I like what he's done with his later life, even though he owes me money. I think the thing that he's done that is beautiful is taking an alpha male persona and kind of learning how to deal with saying what, being honest with himself. So you see him talk to dudes that on his podcast, try to talk about, I wouldn't let no girl do this. And he'll be like, so tell me why you feel that you need to dominate women like that.
I love listening to him talk, and I love hearing him talk about the person he used to be.
Yeah,
he's like that person was a killer. He was like I don't want to be that person anymore. He's coming kind of like at that mentality that a lot of people who like that lifestyle don't get to see, because a lot of them don't get to live to be that old, but they don't seem to figure that part out. Like I don't know who it was. It was some rapper that's always saying some homophobic stuff. And Tyson was just sitting there. He was just like, was Boosie? He was just like, so why is it? He's like, maybe you just need to shut the hell up. And he was just like, yeah, you know what? I just need to shut up.
I remember that. If Mike Tyson tells you to shut up.
That's what it was. He was just,
Yep.
Right, because he was just like, he's like, why do you feel the need to go always, have to say that to the kid? He's like, sometimes Tyson, I just need to shut the hell up. That's what it is. Like this.
Maybe I need to shut up. Mm-hmm.
Right, because it's just because what you gonna say? Like, I dare any one of them to buck up. Tyson would knock out them and their bodyguard.
Yep. Everybody knows this. Yeah, I love that though. It's like when people hit that pinnacle of alpha maleness, where everybody knows they've been at that pinnacle. They're the best. Because I remember dudes that were straight killers. Them dudes would sit down and be like, yo, I really like you, man. I mean, you be reading books and stuff and saying real smart stuff. And I just wish that I had read more books in my life. And what are you going to say to him while he's crying?
Right. You'll know whether to comfort him. You'll be like, because they still be like, you be like, thank you. You don't know to put your hand on the shoulder. Hey, don't touch me, bro. Like, hey, man, I'm
trying to help you out.
Right. It's like I don't know.
I like watching it fall because the most important thing with Gen X is that you've seen people openly soften and question the way that we were raised. And the way that we were raised was messed up. And it's very few generations that had what Gen X had. And I think our peers in generations, especially Black Americans, would be only akin to the people who were the sons and daughters of slaves. Because think about it. My dad was born in 1938. Her dad was born in 1812. So Jermaine can tell us about that.
Whose father?
Wait a minute.
You know what? You know what, bro? Let me tell you something, little man.
He snuck that in there.
You know what? Here, goodbye. Yeah. Anyway, let's go talk about Christmas. What y'all doing for Christmas? Cause I'm a stuff. No, you ain't got no sound, bro.
You want to?
Go ahead, chuckle it up. Go ahead, key all you want. Point your finger. I don't care.
Can't hear nothing. We cannot hear you.
You got to ask me nice. Wait, I can't do it. I'm trying to do it. There you are.
To be fair, her dad was born my grandparents' generation, so she actually had to go through something different. So I would say that that those of us who had to grow up with people who were in Jim Crow South and all that kind of stuff, the only people akin to them were like, people who were raised by former enslaved people. No one would listen to us. We'd be like, hey, people are shooting after the party. And they'd be like, are you able to go to a party where white people go in the bathroom, same bathroom you go in? Like that doesn't have anything to do with it. Oh, was the Klan killing people who were 14 years old? I'd be like, no, I'm trying to get some actual advice. And so I think the thing that you see with us is that we don't subscribe to one or the other. So we don't subscribe to uber capitalism because we watch these hippie white people that told us they're all about love and stuff like that. Be the most capitalistically obsessed people with driving their Mercedes Benz and all this kind of stuff. We don't subscribe to anything. We created our own music with hip hop, and we created more jobs and money from that thing. Same thing with the internet and all these other things. And so what we ended up being is we end up being able to be malleable. So here we are in our middle ages, and in our middle age, we're still sitting there trying to evolve as people. I can tell you that in the 1980s, when people were my age, that was it. That was all they're going to be. If whatever the heck they were, they were driving that stake into the ground and trying to keep it running. And so the thing, because I remember you didn't have conversations with adults, you didn't have anything. They could be doing something straight up wrong. You'd be like, just you told me in church that I was not supposed to do what you're doing. You better shut up, boy.
Right. You better not repeat it either to anybody. If you saw me doing it.
Yeah. So I actually enjoy watching our generation, from your Ice Cubes doing kids movies, to Mike Tyson's, to all these people just taking this concept, because we were the predators, the super predators that Hillary Clinton talked about and they wrote books about and all this kind of stuff. We watched the American system and the world turn on us and mess us up. And I remember what it was like back in 1994, 95, when like I remember 86, 87 when they flipped the switch and I went from being just a kid to a black kid. And I remember when the police would start to mess with me and I didn't understand what this was. And it got worse and worse and worse. And when I went through my growth spurt in 1990 and I grew to like 6'2", 6'3", in 1 year, like grew about a foot, all of a sudden I became something totally different than the 15-year-old kid I was. And so when I watch these kids right now, you know, the people that eat at my soul the most are the ones that sit there and talk about kids. Even this horrible kid right now that shot up the kids in Michigan. You know, like
they're charging the parents.
50, yeah, right. Wait a second. His parents deserve that. We can get on that one. But that.
Oh no, I agree with it.
Yeah, but the thing is, the thing that they do is they demonize kids, and they do it so much they don't think about. Was it Tamir Rice? He was 12 years old. I have a 12-year-old right over there, a 12-year-old boy. You're gonna tell me that you couldn't ask him something before you pulled the trigger in less than 30 seconds? And then they talk about, well, he was tall, there's no 12-year-old that's shaven. There's no 12-year-old that you can't look in the face and know he's not a 12-year-old. In fact, the fact that he was playing with a gun tells me that he didn't know how much they fear us. And so what I enjoy about my generation is like, I enjoy that my generation is not doing what my parents' generation did to us. And that is saying, we went through so much that your stuff is not valid. My kids go through things on a day-to-day basis that I have to respect is being a kid in 2021. They're 12 and 14. And I want them to be able to come to me and talk about stuff. My kids are mixed. They're black, but you know, well, we can say mixed. Yeah. But they go through things, and when they experience racism, that I have to remember that white person that messed with them and did stuff with racism could look like their grandfather, could look like their grandmother, could look like their cousin, their uncle, their aunt, all that kind of stuff. Like, that is a different type of thing than what I had to go through. And so I have to be there to listen. And so every single time that I see us, the super predators, break it down, and I watch as people like, by the way, you reminded me of Regina King and in Boys in the Hood when he came on with the hair joint. That is a compliment.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Yeah, she's the greatest of all time.
Like she looked like somebody, I can't remember who. Yep.
Go ahead, girl. So people like Regina King getting to live her best life and show her talent, and then also talk about, you know, what she has gone through in a different type of a way that expresses her humanness. And then I also clap for the younger generation, because to be honest with you, we were so thrown away. We didn't have it in us to be revolutionaries and all this kind of stuff, because all the revolutionaries were killed by the time we were born. And so we also looked at our parents' generation to help write the crime bill, to help put us under the bus, kicked us under there, and then told us to pull our pants up. And so, you know, I look at this generation and it wants things to be fair. And that fair has taught people, and I always tell people, the thing you need to watch out is not me. I've always been revolutionary in the way that I talk. I don't fear anyone. If it's wrong, it's wrong. I say it. But that to me is one thing. I have cousins, and I grew up with that bougie black stuff, that Maryland joint. I grew up in Maryland and all this kind of stuff, the Howard crowd and light-skinned people, Jack and Jill and Cotillion and all kind of crap. And when they start talking about it, stuff doesn't change. I got cousins calling me up like, you know, I never told my white friends how frustrated I was, but I told them the other day. And I told them, God damn it.
When I was going to say, I thought he was going to say, gosh darn it, I'm telling you. Enough, Chad. Enough of it.
Enough.
If you say one more black joke, it's on.
I've got my dukes.
I think
can't believe all this frustration came out of Coming to America. Go ahead, Monique.
I was just gonna say, I think when it was like pull up your pants, and like it was more of like a assimilate, try to a survival, you know, a mechanism. And instead of bucking the system and pushing back, they just tried to go along. You know what I mean? I just need you to make it home. I just need you to come back to me. That's all I'll be worried about. I have 2 boys, 5 and 7. My son and I had to have the talk yesterday. My boys, I was like, so if somebody comes to school with something dangerous, what do you need to do? You know what I mean? Because they shoot Sandy Hook. Them babies was pre-K in age. You know what I mean?
I still can't deal with that one.
I am okay, son, what's dangerous? What should not be at the school? They know a knife, a gun, and at 5 and 7, a bomb. And when you see those things, you see somebody acting weird or different, you talk to the teacher. And I'm like, so, well, what if the teacher doesn't take you seriously? Where do you go next? And I'm like, if you see something happen at school, you come talk to your mother. I'll go up to the school and burn the whole down before I allow, because I could not imagine sending my babies to school and them not coming home. I like, you know what I mean?
This one this week, but that was rough.
That it was hard. It is hard to see.
A quick thing about the Sandy Hook and the tying into what you were saying before. Even the guy who shot up Sandy Hook, who was a grown man who murdered kids, they still did not demonize him as much as they did Trayvon Martin, who just was walking home with a pack of Skittles, who stood his ground against some creepy adult who was following him home.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, well, he fought. It's like they talk more about him having the empty bag of weed that it's just like it's weed. It's like, well, he was throwing up gang signs. Do you have any proof of him actually being in a gang sign? Do you know what gang signs are?
In a subdivision.
Right. It's like if I showed you a gang sign, would you know it? It's like, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it's that crazy thing. And I think both of you, made excellent points about just, as you said, Mo, they were just focused on just trying to survive. Something happens, you always hear this, like, how them white folks be. It's like, that thing is just like, it's like, why bother?
But I'm not going to transfer it down to the next generation.
Right.
And I forgive them. I recognize it. My grandparents, when Emmett Till got killed, both of my dad and my uncle were older than him. And they were from Meridian, Mississippi. Can you imagine the type of terror that went through their heart when this dude was killed down the street and they put him in a pond or whatever the heck it was? So I understood, and that's the one thing Joanna and I have, is like, my grandparents were her dad's age, and so I understand what my grandparents were going through. And if I didn't have my grandparents in my life, I would absolutely not respect the generation that came after them. But I understood that the type of fear and stuff that they had was about survival. I mean, I've had to survive in my life. And one of the things that haunted me is my son telling me one day when a terrible situation, an adult was acting crazy around him. He was like, Daddy, I tried to be a big boy and not cry. And I was like, look, man, I want you to cry. Like, don't be me. That stuff got beat out of me. Like, those things have nothing to do with my manhood. It's a fact, it's a part of me that I don't want to do. And so I recognize what they were. I'm just embracing what we are becoming, which is we're becoming full human beings for our children and eventual grandchildren. And we're showing. And if somebody like a Mike Tyson can show it, then it allows a lot more people to show their vulnerability and their full humanness. Because, the thing that they did is they were doing the pull up your pants as W.E.B. Du Bois talented 10th. Their whole point was to show white people that we're just as good as them. 400 years later.
Still.
We're still saying it? I don't need to show Jack. Jermaine, no, I'm over here in Sweden. She knows that if I'm in the room and people are like, well, at least you're over here in Sweden, don't have to deal with racism.
And when they say that, I'm like, oh shit.
Then she gives me a cookie after.
Yeah.
What it do? What's up, man? You put out fire?
You put out that fire?
You know what I'm saying? I went in there, you know what I'm saying? Before we even got there, it was like, you know what? Them people's coming. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to chill.
What?
You know what I'm saying? It put itself out. You know what I mean?
It'll put itself out.
What?
Yeah.
The fire.
We asked the simplest question in the history of questions. Did you put out the fire? And you were like, well.
See, D, bro, I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Don't start that.
He was waiting. He was happy. He was like, D's coming.
My dude.
I'm looking forward to seeing you, brother. You gonna do it like that? Come on, man.
Yeah. He was waiting for you, man. He was waiting for me. We were all working. He said there's a fire. I was like, all right, go ahead and put out the fire.
Yeah, do your job. Emergency. I guess we'll let you slide this time.
Fine, let him live.
Once in a while, I gotta do a little work.
A little bit of work. I see. Look at you showing off uniform. Look at you.
I'm at work. You know what I'm saying? I got
just
I'm trying to find somewhere, where I can look like, okay, how it look.
In the firehouse.
I can get it right. So I just say I'm just gonna lean up against this wall right here.
There you go.
Lord.
Look relaxed.
And she gonna be like, "Why you so?"
Of course, he had his hair and makeup done before.
The makeup crew was over there.
I didn't like that blush.
No, but going back it's everything you said was so true, Dee, regarding to how we're trying to raise kids now and to have all that. But it reflected me back because when we first got on here, Carl was like, "Oh, I gotta make dinner," and he took the picture away, but he was cooking, and he goes, "I ain't gonna be standing," and he took the picture away. And I thought of when I was listening to Here's the Thing, and they were talking about, I forgot the guy, whoever it was, talking about how it was all stemmed on going back to toys and getting a woman said it, I think, getting an oven for the girls and a grill for the boys. And I was like, I thought to myself, there's a grill for boys? There's a grill? I thought it was just the easy bake and that was it. But
I ain't seen no grill.
And putting that stigmatism on boys and on girls to say, this is how y'all are supposed to be. And I was like, no, that's not it. And like she said, and I look, because there are over 70% of the cooks, of the chefs, are men.
Yeah.
Right.
So how are you saying that if he's 6 and 7 and he's interested in Easy Bake Oven, he gonna be gay? He needs more men in his life. He needs to do this.
Like people ain't out there eating every day. Like somebody got to cook the food. You know what I mean?
But the manly thing was to do the grill outside.
But you still had to know how to cook inside.
Yeah, you serve.
What kind of sense does this make?
Yeah,
he still got to feed himself regardless. Eventually.
Regardless.
Yeah, and that bugged me out. Even just to think that, like you just said, the fact that you have Mike Tyson, saying, okay, this is where I was. Y'all don't need to even be there because I've already gone through it. You've seen me gone through it. Yeah. I'm giving you some serious knowledge that you need to take. And then you have someone out there saying, I'm not going to give my little boy no stove. He going to be gay.
Yeah.
That's not, excuse me, ma'am, that's not what's gonna make your son gay.
I don't care. I don't care if he's gay, not gay, whatever. Those things are a thing to me. I want my child to be happy. I don't want him living in a variant of himself, because that's not true to himself. My daughter as well. And the concept that I should care who they eventually love is the stupidest thing ever. I mean, do y'all want to hear about your parents' sex life?
No.
course not.
So it should go two ways on that one as
Yeah,
well. I'm good.
You're like, nah, that's all right. That's all right.
As long as you're happy.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy and true to yourself and not selling yourself out, then I'm good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So now, what are y'all doing for Christmas? Because I know I'm gonna be home, right here. What is everyone doing for Christmas? Whose relatives' house are you going to collect food like Dee does during Thanksgiving?
Did 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
We usually, my baby's father, he has a big family, a lot of first cousins, a lot of, and then now the first cousins, my kids are the oldest, being 7 and 5, and then it just goes from like that to like 2 months of like babies. So they're supposed to get like an Airbnb, and we're all supposed to go there for Christmas. You know, we usually do the mornings with my parents, and then we do the afternoons with his family, and we're gonna all probably be together. And I'm double vaxxed up, so hopefully I'll be all right with the cooties, you know.
Vodka helps. Little cranberry.
That's awesome.
Right.
Well, the baby should be cool. I'm pro baby.
Yeah, it's a lot of babies.
No, but the thing is when yours are like teenagers, you forgot about babies. You can get around and be like, look at that baby. Baby smells so good.
Oh, they smell so good.
I know.
They smell so good. I put
smiles.
Their dad put like baby lotion on my oldest face, and I was like, "Oh, little boy, you smell so good. Come here, baby." He's
I know.
I'm not a baby. Sorry, you are. You are my baby forever.
Baby predator.
My baby forever.
Okay, if you got grown kids, yours is grown.
Not
How old are yours?
My oldest is 17.
Oh,
that's a teen. That's what I meant by grown. He's a teen.
Yeah. My oldest, they're between 17 and 13. So they, they're all in that whole pubescent age, and I'm just
corny to them, aren't you?
They musty.
They be musty. Oh man, the smells, boy.
They just be feeling themselves. They just feel themselves at that age. You know what I mean? They grow into themselves, and it's cute to watch, but it is also annoying as a bystander. Like, you're not that fly. You are, but you're not.
Maybe I didn't tell them, but it's one of the things where you kind of think like, okay, they'll kind of get it on their own, or they'll recognize it. They got to smell themselves, right?
Me like really musty. I mean, like they just smelling themselves, feeling themselves. And then lie.
I didn't know when I was that age, because that age I decided real quick that I didn't like cologne, so I used to put baby powder on me, and girls would walk up to me and be like, "You smell so good. You smell so good." And then when I went to my high school reunion, they were like, "Man, you've always smelled good." And I went to a school when I was like 23, 24, doing like social worker stuff. I walked in that joint. I was like, oh,
sour.
What's going on here? And that's when I realized why I used to get that compliment. Because they were putrid. And now putrid. My daughter's 14 at a middle school. I tried I'm so happy for COVID. I don't have to go in that school. Thank God for COVID.
Oh man.
Oh.
Well, some of those teenagers turn into adults that don't entertain deodorants or any kind of fresheners in their body.
Showers, we're finding that there are more and more celebrities even that aren't taking proper showers.
You know what? I ain't got to live with them.
My crush did that on Instagram. And
your crush? Who's your crush?
Mila Kunis?
No, Zanzi Beats.
Yeah.
From Atlanta.
Hold on, what?
Huh?
What she said?
She said she don't take showers.
At all?
My bad. Like,
You mean she doesn't like?
She's like against them or something.
Like she
From
doesn't
Atlanta,
bathe
the one
at
from the
all?
Holiday Party?
She was talking about natural musk is good.
Let me tell you
for
something right
and all
now.
this kind of
Let me
stuff.
tell you
I was
something.
like,
You know what? My job, I am close to everybody's body.
You are.
And I have early in my years, not these later 10, 11, 12 years, but very early in my years, there have been some folk.
why are you getting a massage if you stink?
There have been some folk who, and I remember one vividly. This is like over more than 10, 12. I just remember
That's
the
how
person.
bad it was.
I don't even remember where I was.
You
I don't
remember
even
the
remember.
smell. 10, 12
came
years
in-
later.
More like 15 probably. She came into that room after she had come from the gym. And she no, only I only no, but the thing about it, I have a lot of clients who were like, oh yeah, I just came from the gym, but they have done the process of showering and blah 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 blah, and then they come in. That's what they mean by they just left the gym. This is great to have after the gym, but they have showered. They've done the showering, the bathing, and everything, and they lit. So when she said it, my assumption is okay. You went through the. She laid down, and I'm like,
all the smells.
And I'm not just talking about just this smell. I'm talking about the smell. Monique, the smell, the once a month smell. Look at that face. Yeah, I'm like, because and she smoked, and she must have smoked before she walked in my door, and I was like,
it's a lot
that's coming out of her pores. Plus and then that time, and I'm like, oh.
And that time?
Because I was like, wait a minute, what is that? I was like, no. And you didn't bathe before you came from the door. And it was the first and last time. I've never massaged that particular person again because I don't think I've ever been back at that place. But
like, I left that.
I told my boss after that. I was like, look, you need to write in every little document, whatever these people got to know. Don't come running up in here with your funkified self. Because no.
There's got to be an additional charge in there that you can like add to their credit card later or something. Like,
well, I worked for a company, so it was like
refuse them and take the money.
Well, this was like, this is my job that I had then. And I was like, that was like the only time that ever happened. But the imprint
is burned
in there. And I think because of the fact that there was also a time in the month, that's a really tipped it over. That whole combo. I'm like, you were just being nasty. You couldn't just say no. Just say no. Go take your shower. You missed your time. I ain't got.
She could have reached around and wrenched it off. She could have absolutely.
5 minutes. 5 minutes it takes.
I'm a man, so I can't say anything to this conversation.
No, but it's
okay for me not to have an opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I had some men who were rich and raunchy, so there should have been some wipes in that bathroom you just left.
Anything.
Because I remember one guy, he had these little black spots under his arm. I didn't know what they were from. I was like,
okay, so about Christmas.
And Christmas came. No, but I mean, like I said, I haven't experienced those particular, like one or two. I haven't experienced those things in decades and more than that. I mean, and I'm happy I haven't. I mean, my clients are
people have evolved.
Stellar. My clients are stellar. I must say they are. I love them.
Try to be mindful when I'm teaching my boys to wash. I'm like, look, it's okay. It'll be fine. After you wash it, you can always, rub a finger in the crevice and smell your finger. If your fingers still stink, keep washing. Keep washing. Keep watching. Keep watching.
Public
It's your
service.
body. You free to touch it. Whatever crevice, check them. Check, baby. Check it.
That's right. Put deodorant in every crevice.
Yeah.
Every crevice you got, you put that deodorant.
Yeah.
But there are people. But there is like. But there are like there is like a thing with something that's with women with people like I mean there are a bunch of people. I mean they shower every day, even if they don't use deodorant, but they have a problem with their sweat glands.
Yeah,
it just so that I mean you can't do much about.
I have a cousin that got his sweat glands were messed up because he parked his car in front of a young lady's house who was married and went into her house, and the husband came home and then shot him, as he should. So his sweat glands are messed up. So he just sweats all the time. He's like a distant cousin. So his sweat glands messed up from getting shot. And he just sweats all the time. So he had to be on disability. I don't know. But he had to be, he's older than me, like way older than me.
Sorry, did you just give us his supervillain origin story?
No,
or like
no.
All this the sweater, he drowns his victims.
Nah, all this dude stays in ice cold house. He just stays in an ice cold house, doesn't go anywhere, doesn't do anything, and is on disability because he literally, because he has to hydrate so much because he sweats that bad.
Yeah. All that
body is
but just to let you know, family or no family, parking your car in front of another man's house to go sleep with his wife. At least you didn't die.
It can get you shot.
At least you didn't die.
That's that all came from Christmas. That's a shame.
Yep. You're the one talking about sweating. Yep. We're not doing much. No. The kids' grandparents are supposed to be coming down from northern Sweden, and because of COVID, COVID got a Christmas surprise for us right now. So we'll see. But they're supposed to be over there because over here they celebrate on the 24th, and then I don't care about the 24th. So the 25th they'll be over at our place. Otherwise than that, we'll have them the rest of the holiday for most of it. Yeah.
We're not. I don't think we're doing anything major.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing. We're I don't know about my in-laws. Usually what we end up doing is everybody do their own thing. Might get together like the day before or something like that. And if there are any gifts exchanged, maybe open one gift and then everybody go about their business,
Okay.
Wake up whenever you wake up the next morning, y'all open your gifts or whatever y'all got. But other than that, ain't no just big.
So you let your kids open gifts before you're awake?
Say again?
The kids open the gifts before you're awake?
No. They, we usually get up and we'll, take some pictures and then.
There you go. I'm just saying.
You.
I've been spending a lot of time working out these gifts. I need to see the smile on their face. Yeah. And if they don't like it, they better fake it because it's about my happiness.
Oh my God. It's about me.
Because it's the joy of giving, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have that joy that you get from giving what you gave,
exactly.
Then it ain't giving what it gave. You feel me?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Now I thought you were saying like they could wake up and just go downstairs and open gifts.
No. First of all, I would have to have stairs. Second of all,
I don't have stairs either. I got stairs to get out of the building. So,
okay.
As you can see in my studio here.
Oh, Lord.
I like that. Where the milk? You gotta have milk crates on the walls, man.
Omar's coming. That's why. Because Omar's gonna be
Omar
coming.
taking up half the most of the living room. I have a Portuguese water dog who will be 16 weeks on Monday. So I've been on duty the entire time.
Omar Little.
Omar Little.
Duty.
Duty too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That dude
it's a pretty dog.
Yep.
A Portuguese water dog.
Yeah, they're so pretty. I had to Google, never heard of.
Okay,
So
you want to see him?
Cute little thing.
You want to see him?
Yeah,
now.
yeah, dude.
Bring him.
Excuse me.
Is he?
Can I get an Omar for a second?
Omar's coming. Omar's coming.
Omar wants to be on the video chat real quick.
Yeah, he wants to be on the Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Omar is
Why,
bold.
thank
I like that.
Brother
His
Carl,
name is
probably
Omar.
Omar act like Kev's dog. He getting that
I
on.
thank you. I only
Ah
use one
man,
for a
Monty
little
be tearing up stuff, man.
Oh,
you.
look at that baby. Hello.
Hey, Z.
Hello.
Tell Z I said hi.
That's all right.
Hi.
Jermaine said hi.
Hey, how you doing, little one?
There you go.
Or not
Let's
so
see.
little one. Dang,
Yeah, not so
you
little.
have
Not
like
so
real
little.
kids. Like
And she
little.
can sing.
Mhm.
Nancy.
Yeah.
And yes, she can.
Oh, look
Hey.
at that puppy. Hello,
Omar.
Woody, I don't
Look
want.
at him.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Let's see if we can.
so cute.
Like,
The
okay,
problem with being dark.
I have to get you a light in front of you so you have light.
Yeah, I
in front
know.
of your
I'm
face.
trying to see if I can move it a little.
Oh, there.
Oh,
He's too black, so.
that's right. That's right. That's the only type of dog I get. Too black.
That's right.
Too proud.
That's why I got
Over
a
here in
black cat.
Sweden.
Yeah, I was like, I need a black cat. Like,
That's
black.
right. Come here.
Forget racism, but segregation.
Yep,
Yes.
exactly. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye, Omar.
There you go. All right. Thank you so very much, Zora. You are still my favorite daughter out of all my daughters. Yeah,
Thank you. I was going to say, you
technicality.
only got one.
That's right. You know
Unless you
that.
got some secret ones around that we don't know about.
You know
Uh-oh.
the one thing that I have to say about my children's disappointment is my jokes are fire and they don't even appreciate them.
Oh, that's funny.
Z be blowing them up. Z be like, no, it ain't funny, Dad. It's not.
The
Oh,
kids that D ain't claiming, they are he's getting away with it because he gave them an American address to catch up with. So they still looking for him, somewhere in Chicago, LA, New York, Miami. Like all the big cities, they're looking for him. Little do they know he was around the corner the whole time.
Hey, my old roommate, this is my fear. On Father's Day, when he got a message from an 18-year-old talking about, I'm pretty sure you're my dad. Every American Father's Day, I'm pressing on messages. But I'd like to thank my sponsor, Trojan, for helping me make it through the 1990s. Trojan, making your Father's Day better every year.
Hey, is Maury an international thing? I'm just saying,
Is
I've
what?
never seen. Is Maury an international thing?
Where's Maury?
Maury Povich?
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not here.
We don't have
I don't
it.
think it was here. Yeah.
Oh,
There's a lot of stuff here.
No, it's not here.
But it's just random stuff that is. They'll know like stuff that wasn't that big in the States and be like, oh, this show? And it would have been in the States, but it wasn't big. They also got a whole bunch of music that we have no clue from artists we know of. So they got those throwaway European albums over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the funniest thing though is like when people tour, it's people that in the States probably don't fill a bar, and people are like, yeah, I gotta go see this person. And be like, who? And be like, so and so. Like
isn't David Hasselhoff's like really big over in
That's
Europe?
in Germany. That's in
Germany.
I don't
Okay.
think he's big. Is he big here?
Here in Sweden?
Yeah,
David Hasselhoff? I know people know of him. I don't know
Yeah,
if
they
he's
know
been
of
here
him.
because I don't pay attention to.
No.
I mean, David Hasselhoff to me is like Knight Rider. I
That's
do not
it.
see him on stage.
Not even Baywatch?
I do
Baywatch.
not watch no damn Baywatch. I like Knight
Baywatch
Rider because of
wasn't
the
about
car.
wanting to watch it. Baywatch wasn't about wanting to watch it. It came on Sunday when nothing else was on TV.
That's it.
Made
At
you
like
watch
11 o'clock at night.
Yep,
Yeah.
it made you watch it. You had nothing else to watch.
They
Ooh,
watching
good.
Baywatch Nights.
No, I don't even know what that is.
Get
I have
out.
no clue.
That's right. They have a new Baywatch with no, they have a new. He's
Rock.
in the new one, right? Is he in the
Oh,
new
the
Baywatch?
one that had the Rock in it.
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
movie. No, not the movie. Didn't they do another series or no?
Yeah, they did it. they did another series way back.
Okay.
He was on it for the longest. And I remember they killed his character off, but he was like having a dispute with the show, with the producers of the show. And they did him dirty. He filmed a completely different scene. And then they filmed another scene to where his character died, and that's the one they aired. And he was like, that's kind of how he found out.
It's a soap opera, though, isn't it? So
yeah,
they
that's pretty much all of it.
They can bring it back. That was my favorite thing about soap operas. But like, and then he was shot. He was shot by the lover of his wife, and then about
his twin.
6 weeks later, it was like it was his twin that he didn't.
Right, it's always some twin.
He got knocked off of a bridge, hit his head. Some nuns were trying to get him. He lost all his memory, but he's coming back now, and his wife doesn't feel anything about the person who died, which was a real human being, and she's good. She's happy to have her husband back.
God. Y'all are nuts.
Wow.
Yep.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Carl.
I was going to say soap operas is populated by the most twins per capita than anywhere else in the world. It's like everybody has a twin that people who grew up with them didn't know they had.
That's what happens. I got a twin.
Right. They have a twin, and unlike regular twins, they look exactly alike. Because even in real life twins, it's like there is a little bit of difference, but they're exact same size, shape, even though not growing up around each other. All their environmental differences had them coming out the exact same. And they sound the same and seem to know everything about them, even though they've never been around them.
But one is more evil than the other.
Exactly.
One has
more
ulterior motives than the other one.
Yeah, one got a mustache.
Right. They know everything. They know your Netflix password. They know everything.
But the one thing
that's how diabolical they are.
The one thing that I respect about soap operas is that the way that they do it is kind of like theater. So a lot of those theater people went there to make money so that they didn't have to grovel and take terrible theater jobs. So those 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s people were bona fide theater stars who were able to eat through this. And so what happened is, I think Alec Baldwin talked about this. He said, I learned more on a soap opera than I did on any movie, any TV show I've ever done, because I had some of the best actors in the history of acting who were doing this. And he was like, well, why are you doing, those stage actors, those old school stage actors. It sounded like old school comedians. My favorite people were those old school, used to do vaudeville, do all that old school stuff. It's the same thing you can see with those like Aretha Franklin performers or whatever. Those people will murder you with a smile on their face because they have done it so much in such horrible conditions that they are the craft. And so I didn't know that at all. I always thought it was trash. But I know some of these people were like bona fide Broadway stars. And this is how they were able to retire and eat well.
And speaking of theater and Broadway and voices and Aretha, did any of y'all see Aretha?
No.
Where was she at?
I don't know. I'm sorry. The Aretha Franklin story or whatever with the one with Jennifer.
Is it out?
No.
What is it on?
I don't know. It's not. Is it out yet? Or no?
Yeah. Well, no. They came out some months ago. It should be up for like to rent or something.
Yeah.
By now.
I saw it on the Redbox. So I think it should be out for
Wait, we still have red boxes around here?
What's a red box?
Seen one.
Walmart, that's the only way.
Wow.
It's not even red, it's blue.
You guys don't. Redbox is what took. Is basically it's a kiosk.
Okay.
It's
the kiosk. It took Blockbuster out.
Yeah. Oh, Redbox. Okay, I remember seeing those things in the States. I think in Walmart or in the certain stores.
Walmart, Walgreens.
Walmart.
Yeah, you have to check to see if the movie or game that you want to rent is actually at the location that you want, and you got to go there, then find out it's not there, then you have to go to another one.
That seems good for the environment.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, King N. He said he wasn't allowed to watch it. What weren't you allowed to watch? You weren't allowed to watch Aretha Franklin, the movie?
No, he's probably talking about Baywatch.
Oh, okay.
Because of the jiggling.
Because of the jiggling. The jiggling, baby.
Go ahead, baby.
Go ahead, baby.
Go ahead, baby.
But no, that I haven't seen that, but I did see United States versus Billie Holiday. I think that's the title.
That was
dope.
I
Yes.
don't know what that. Where was that?
That's on Hulu. That was an amazing movie.
I think it's on HBO for us.
Okay.
I don't have HBO.
No, well, you need to get you a VPN so that
right now.
HBO
you
Max.
get your VPN so you can
HBO
watch
Max
it or whatever.
At HBO Max now for 44 crowns.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Go ahead and get that. Yep.
Okay, I got that.
Then you can watch The Wire and become a civilized person.
Why you gotta put my
I'm
business
laughing,
out
but I've
there?
never seen the
I haven't seen it either.
Thank you. Now I feel stronger.
Let me see how I make it.
Now I feel stronger.
Eventually, I'll get to it. Eventually, I'll get to it.
And you know what else people bragged about? Dexter.
I haven't seen that either.
Now
I've seen some of Dexter. The last few seasons, you're better off not seeing.
Now, the beginning was dope.
Yeah,
I watched it from the beginning, and then when they started twisting the plot to where he was in love with his sister because she's adopted, even though they were raised together, I was like, "What are you talking about?"
I missed that part.
Yeah,
there was.
Also,
it's when
the amount of people he killed would have had the FBI, CIA,
MCI, CSI,
16, whatever they're called, MI5. Everybody would have been there. This dude off like 70 people.
It's one of those things to where you're supposed to feel good because the people that he's killing is bad people.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, and it got to it's one of those things to where it was like around a time to where it's like they had shows kind of like that in The Shield to where you have the protagonist, but they're not really a nice person.
Yeah, like
but they still want you to kind of root for them.
Yeah.
But then eventually they did the thing to where they pushed it too far over to where it's just like, I'm not rooting for anybody anymore. And I'm kind of rooting for you to get caught. But the people that you want to catch them are kind of stupid too.
That's a fault of the show.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
I watch stuff like The Wire, and I'm making decisions that don't match me. Like, hey, you got to kill him. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
you making those GTA decisions. Just as like normally I wouldn't run somebody over and steal their money.
Got to do it.
Here.
I don't know, maybe
my name is my name.
maybe he was getting away with it because his last name is Rittenhouse. I don't know. Anyway,
you know what? My thoughts went right there, but I said I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say that. But now that you brought it up, let me tell you something. I was talking to a young person here regarding that thing, and he had a very different opinion that I had to just like kind of swallow. And because I wasn't going to argue with it, I mean, because everything what's done is done. Because my thing is, you're like, oh well, he killed two people, but it was in self-defense. I was like, do you understand that he should not have been there? I said he should not have been there. He was not. He's talking about protecting his property was in the other county. He should not have been there.
He does not own property because he is 17 years old.
He didn't even
own that gun.
No. He didn't live in the state.
He didn't. I said he did not live there. He had no right.
Not county. He didn't live in the state.
No, but
what's crazy?
To be honest with you,
the
first guy had lots of problems, and he escalated a situation that wasn't supposed to be there. And the truth of the matter is like, it's white on white crime. So
sorry,
but listen to me. Wait, well let me just let me get that sounds But his thing, I'm just talking about it in a feeble sense, and to a point where it's like he was saying, well, he did it. He shot them in self-defense. He was defending himself. I said, but you understand he should not have been there. I said, if he was home and not where he doesn't live, this would not have happened. He would not have been involved.
His mom and
no, I'm just explaining how he saw it.
Yeah.
He, and I was like, no, this would not have happened. You can't say. And I said, but he still shot people because he, and his, he's like, and he's thinking, well, he did it in self-defense, so yes, he should have gotten off. And I'm like,
but this was someone here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna put my
you just
stuff out there.
missed it.
And,
Not
I mean,
me.
they were young. They were also, and going, it was just, and
But,
I'm like, it was
the
only so
lack
much
of
I could really
context
explain.
here.
Huh?
Yeah, the lack of context here gets on my nerves. I'm sick of explaining to people that what happens in Missouri and what happens in Illinois are two totally different things.
Mm.
The whole concept that people talk to me confidently about, well, this was self-defense. Based off of what? Based off of what? Some TV shows you watched?
Yeah.
Be like, because if it's New York, it's a different thing than if it's in Illinois. So that concept, I don't do that anymore. I'm tired of talking to people like we're equal, because we aren't. Not on that. Like, I'm from the States, so I don't.
And they were like,
I would say that
the
Rittenhouse, if it had been followed by those 3 murderers who killed Ahmaud Arbery, if it had been followed by that, I'd be hopping on a plane to watch America burn down.
Right. Speaking of that, the prosecutor in that, which talk about 2 totally different cases. The prosecutor in the Travis, the McMichael and Brown case versus the prosecutor for the Rittenhouse case, 2 totally different. Yep. Number one, the judge for the Rittenhouse case was completely on his side. He got to pick jurors. He's up for taking selfies with the kid. The judge, however, on the other side, for the McMichael and Brown case, when the one lawyer, the defense lawyer, was just like, we don't want any more black pastors up in here, because Al Sharpton came in here and he was just like, well, they asked, could he come? I said yes. And the fact that nobody even knew he was here until afterwards means that they followed my directions. So I don't have a problem with them being here, and you need to sit down. It's like, the fact that in the Rittenhouse case, the judge wouldn't allow them to be called victims. Yep. However, they could be called rioters, which was not proven. It's a fact that they were shot. They are victims of a shooting. Yeah. It's like, that's not disputed. They got shot. But, just in case, and it goes into that thing of every time something happens with us, that, as you mentioned, that the first guy had a lot of problems. He was a white person, but he wasn't one of the good white people, that is squeaky clean. It's like, for so much stuff that happens to us, we have to justify why we were a good person, so why we didn't have to be shot. Yeah. Not if the people who shot us as well, whether they followed all the rules that they're supposed to follow, or whether they even have the authority to shoot us at all. But I digress. The prosecutor for the McMichael case brought up a good point as far as self-defense. You can't escalate a situation and claim self-defense. Yep. It's like, this situation happened because of you. Yeah. And not because something happens, it's like you were the one with the weapon. No. Right.
Yeah. I love how he was like, well, he didn't follow our commands. What? You're a normal stranger. It was like, right. He's not supposed to.
They were going off of some antiquated, citizens arrest, but it's still the thing. It's still that thing of like you say, he didn't follow our commands. It's like, well, who are you to where he should have listened to what you had to say? Right. It's just like, you shouldn't have been there. Ooh. And I still need to record something on this. Unfortunately, this got none of the press that the Rittenhouse case got. I want to say the same day as Rittenhouse got off, there was a case to where an officer shot and killed a black man. This was happened in 2018, 2019, I think. The black guy, and I think his girlfriend may have been white. They were having an argument. She was going to the car. He was outside. He was yelling at her. He was doing whatever. She drove off. The neighbors see them arguing, calls the cops. He gets out. I want to say he drives. I want to say he started to go after her, but then decided, turned around, came back. The police showed up and killed him. But I think at the point to when they showed up, they didn't know if he had a weapon. There was a lot of stuff that they didn't know, and then they did the classic turn off the body cam while they're doing stuff. It was a closed jury. It was just a judge, and the cop got convicted. The judge was just like, even based on everything, you should not have even been there. You didn't know if he was threatened. You didn't. It's like the amount of force that you used, you shouldn't even have been there. Regardless if maybe he had a gun, maybe if whatever, you shouldn't even been in that situation to do anything in the first place.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the foolishness with the Rittenhouse case drowned that out. And I need to look it back up.
But to me, the individual cases mean nothing. The truth of the matter is, getting people caught on video somehow elevates these cases to the point where we can come up with our non-legal minds that who is at fault, who's supposed to do this, who's supposed to do that. The system itself is the problem.
Right. Until policies start to change, it doesn't matter.
And
because
the truth of the matter is like, what people don't get about the Rittenhouse cases, they talk about Black Lives Matter protesters. So the concept is that it's people look like us out there doing this stuff. We ain't hitting that dude with the skateboard. He got a gun. You know, the only black person in that whole thing was like, why are you walking around with the gun saying you're gonna do medical attention to people? You can't be posed. That's the only person. He didn't approach him and do jack. We wouldn't do that. But what it ends up being is people looking at it because of their association with us and dehumanizing a guy with mental issues, health issues, and dealing with another guy who pulled his gun out, who didn't get killed, but got shot, and the other guy who hit him with the skateboard. None of these things we would have done, period. But because it was Black Lives Matter, because of the Jacob, shooting, the association, Jacob Blake shooting, the association is why they desensitized this to Rittenhouse against unnamed people. Like, you would have assumed the way they talked about it that it was us four sitting on the, getting shot, but it wasn't. And the thing that I always explain to people is like, if you don't grasp that what we're asking for is actual equality, you don't grasp that your life won't matter when it comes down to it at the end of the day.
Right. And and the funny thing about the whole Black Lives Matter thing is that all these people who supported him, he went on Fox News, I want to say with Tucker Carlson, and it was just like, actually, I'm a supporter of Black Lives Matter. And all these people who had given him money was just like, they're like, oh, we don't support him anymore, which also goes to show, tip their hand on, even though we already knew what their issue was. But just that, but then also the thing of, you support Black Lives. I'm not sure if it was his lawyers or whoever told him to say that. It's like, you support Black Lives Matter, supposedly now, despite all the evidence to the contrary before the trial, you support Black Lives Matter, yet you went across state with a rifle that wasn't yours.
He's a boy. He's a boy. We, like Chappelle said, we have to decide what is a child and what is an adult. And so I would like him to be treated, because he made this while he was 17 years old. Not to say that I think that he should have gotten off, but what I'm saying is like he should have been treated like a child. Just like this 15-year-old kid is about to get charged as an adult, I disagree with that. We have to do across the board. If you are under the age of 18, then you are a child. And since we don't give full rights to 18, 19, and 20-year-olds, we should have a gray area until you're 21. And that should be left up to the court. But we're sitting there charging 12, 13, 14-year-old kids with life sentences, never getting out of jail for something they did. This kid couldn't have killed the kids in Michigan if his stupid parents hadn't bought him a gun for a Christmas present and posted it on Instagram. So those kids, 14, 17, 15-year-old kids wouldn't be dead today if the decisions his parents made didn't come into context. I have children. I want children to be treated like children. I remember what it felt like when police officers pulled guns to my head, and I'm a suburban Cosby kid. You know, like I remember what that made me feel like. It made me feel unsafe, and it messed me up for years. And I had it happen multiple times in my suburban neighborhood where ain't nobody but me driving to my brand new, my brother's brand new condo. And so we have to, at some point in time, decide either they're children or they're adults. We can't pick and choose. So whether it's Kyle Rittenhouse, who I think it was a terrible what he was able to do, but then again, I don't know what the average 15-year-old be able to do if he was able to play Rambo. So the whole thing is he's still a kid, a 17-year-old kid. He's a 17-year-old kid. It should be up to the parents, because if somebody comes over my apartment and breaks their neck, I'm the one who's in charge, even if I wasn't here and my children allowed them to come in. So where do we draw the line? But in the same breath, Tamir Rice and all these other children that got murdered by these people need to be spoken in the same breath. It's the same thing with the death penalty. Black, white, green, yellow doesn't make a difference unless we have a definitive line in which you cross. I woke up on Tuesday morning after 6 months of planning, walked into the supermarket and killed 45 people because I wanted to show them that Trump should have been president. You can die. This dude over here in Norway that killed all those kids on that island, y'all could go ahead and send me over there. I'll murder him. I have no problem whatsoever with taking him off the planet Earth. No problem whatsoever. He's definitively done it. And then what that family had to, those families had to do was sit in court and watch him read his manifesto, laugh about it, and talk about how famous he is. That is dangerous to people who have already hurt and lost their children. You know, in those situations, if we're going to have a death penalty, then it should be something as extreme as that. Otherwise, like I believe, we should have no death penalty, and we should never charge children as adults, period, across the board, because their minds aren't actually fully developed. So Rittenhouse to me is nothing.
I'm with that mindset, but it's just that it's happened so long for us that we never had that opportunity.
But in order for us to do that, we do equality across the board. Right. That's the whole thing. Right. When we allow it to be gray areas on stuff, we're the ones that pay for it every single time.
Every time.
That's the whole thing. Equality, and this is what the failure of the civil rights movement. It wanted civil rights for black people, but it really meant black men. Because it was black women that actually powered the civil rights movement. And if they had understood the concept of equality, it would have been what Harriet Tubman was fighting for, what Ida B. Wells. I don't name black men anymore when it comes to the civil rights movement, period. Because it's always been black women that were 50 steps ahead of us when it came to this. You know, and so what we should have been doing during that time period is doing equality, which means women and men, all people, and we would have been in a better position. But because we didn't do it, then we left gray areas and all kinds of stuff. The reason why all these stereotypes come from us came from the women's suffrage movement, because they were working with Ida B. Wells, Harriet Tubman to try and pass women getting the vote, right? And what it ended up doing is getting black men the vote. Well, black men the vote in northern counties that allowed them to go in and do that, right? But it allowed them to do it. So what they turned around, so Susan B. Anthony, who's sitting on money in America, she spearheaded with a lot of them this concept that we were lazy. And just think about this. This is 1900, late 1800s, early 1900s. There's no one alive that thought Black people were lazy. In the world. You know how many former slave owners walking around like, y'all lazy white people? I wish Black Tom used to do 10 of y'all's work in one hour. You know, like they created the concept that we were lazy, that we were overly sexual, and that we wanted white women, which is what the Ku Klux Klan used to terrorize us from that moment on. They did that. And so until we get to the concept of equality, whether it's Rittenhouse or Tamir Rice, then we're jacked. Because that's what we want to do. We want to pick and choose. We want to do the Rosa Parks over that 15-year-old pregnant girl that sat on the bus 6 months before her.
I didn't hear about her till this year.
Yep.
Man.
She's still alive. She's still alive. And they didn't want to do it because it looked bad. Forget looking bad. I want actual quality. So my equality is not about me, the Black man. My equality is about the Palestinians, and I can go on and on and on and on. It's also about the fact that trans people are the most homeless, the most killed, the worst out of everybody. So every single thing needs to be across the board equality. Because if we can start with that, then we're good. But if we're going to pick and choose and do stuff, we're always going to be in this cycle, and we're going to get jacked first. That's all that ever it is.
I was just to this man talk. It was in the whole Dave Chappelle controversy crap. He was talking about his issue with it, and the thing that he was talking about. He was like, "I'm not trying to cancel Dave." He's like, "I just want to talk to him to let him know the areas that I feel that he's missing out when he talks about it." Because when he brings up trans people, he's speaking on trans people as if Black people aren't part of these other groups too. And he was just like, people get this misconception. He was like, you're hearing about us now because it's Dave and you like Dave, and Dave is a big figure. He was like, we put out just as much stuff. We make just as much noise when one of us comes up missing, when one of us comes up dead. He's like, but now because it's about Dave, everybody's paying attention to it. And, it's one of those things that we do forget. It's like, just like, even Family Guy made a joke about it. Like speaking to Dave, he made a joke about it before. The whole Amy Smart girl, during the same time that where she was kidnapped and people were looking for her, there was a young Black girl who was also kidnapped or was missing. However, she escaped and made it back home.
And was half the age.
Right. And you heard nothing about it. But yet, they're talking about Amy Smart 10 years after the fact about what she went through, and you don't even know the Black girl's name.
But I think that the part that we have to focus on when it comes to that is that the Dave Chappelle thing was made for people like me. He was speaking in a crude manner in which he could reach people like me to, at the end of the thing, say that I see your humanity, please see mine. That was his whole part. I do agree that I, as a non-trans person, should probably shut the up because I don't know what they're going through. It's like a white person explaining our existence while we're sitting in the room. Like I don't need to do it, and I'm okay with that. If they were offended and they made it to the end of the show, understanding the context, then I listen to what they have to say. If they're regurgitating information based off of something like that, it is what it is. But it's not my decision to say who is right and who is wrong when they are wrong, when someone else is wrong. I don't use words that have hurt people historically because I don't need to do it. I can say the N-word if I want to. That's for me because I know what that feels like to do it. But I don't say the F word. I don't do all that kind of stuff when it comes to these things. And if I learn something tomorrow that I've said or been part of my vocabulary that has hurt someone else, and historically hurt them, then that's no longer a part of my vocabulary. But the thing with these things is like, we also need to get away from the this story was this and this story was that. Some stuff sticks. Something George Floyd is not the first Black person to get choked out and killed in front of a camera. It didn't do anything with your boy in New York. You know,
Right.
Gardner, it didn't do a daggone thing. It got to roll. That dude, whoever choked him out, is sitting at home playing with his kids. You know what I mean? Like, he
made the argument that by choking him out, he prevented him from falling through the glass window of the whatever store that was in front of, which he only would have fell through because he was choking him.
But the whole thing is like those aren't one or the other. Some things kick, some things don't. Of course, white women getting abducted or hurt or anything like that is going to be the top of the news story. But we've already spoken that into existence to where now they're going to get like, really? We're doing a 30-minute segment on that right now. So what I want to see is just like the concept of equality across the board. Because I think we have the opportunity right now. If you look at 1968, you have Fred Hampton. That's when Dr. King got killed and all this kind of stuff. That was the year that there should have been a bigger jump. But what do we get in the next 10, 20 years? They all of a sudden made it like pro-Blackness was or equality or civil rights was some played out stuff. You know, I know Black Panthers, I know SNCC people, I know people who went underground and all that kind of stuff during that time period. But because it didn't have the hype that it did in the early to mid 60s, they were left out on their own. J. Edgar Hoover, who should burn in hell for the rest of eternity. I don't even believe in hell, but I'll make it for him. This dude wouldn't have infiltrated these organizations of young kids, sent people in there to mess them up, ruin their lives, and put them in jail for forever. And we have buildings in DC. I grew up in DC, named after this dude. And so where we are right now is we need to get to the point where we use the momentum of what happened last year. And that momentum, and the reason why it's worth talking about is that momentum has actual value. 26 million people marched last year from May until August. Do you know how many people marched in the entire 50s and 60s? 200,000 to 300,000.
Yeah.
And 90% of them were Black people.
I think one of the things that I would like to see happen too is that we stop with, well, not we, of course, but this whole mentality that the victim needs to be put on prosecution along with whoever it was that's being prosecuted for killing them.
Yep.
You know, because that's one of the things like, okay, people had different views of what Rittenhouse did. Sorry, y'all, I had to step away for a second. Sorry about that. But I brought him up.
You had to put out fire. Go ahead.
But so they said that one of his victims was like a sex offender or something like this or whatever, right? Okay. So y'all say, okay, well, you know, I'm not gonna mourn over that guy. Okay, I get what you're saying. He wasn't a good guy or whatever. But if you told me that Rittenhouse knew who this guy was, then that's different. You know what I'm saying? Even then though, but he's going and targeting this person. The whole point is that the guy went there for the purpose of killing somebody. Why else would you run around with an AR-15, right? But
he's also a child.
And a child, right?
He's a child.
So he's not looking at things. He's not looking at things in a mature way, right? But rather than scrutinizing him and his parents, especially his mother, rather than doing that, they went through everybody that was shot and was like, well, why did this person deserve
picking them apart?
Yep.
Just picking them apart.
How do we get to that point to where that what we would rather do is rather than looking like the actual crime that was committed, we're looking at justification why that person, oh, okay, well, they deserve it. Like they deserve, evidently, it must have been the universe. It must have been karma had them in that place at that time. Who are you to decide that?
We've always been told lies.
Mm-hmm.
We've always been told lies. We just had Thanksgiving. Yeah. It's the stupidest story in the history of stories. Ever. It's the dumbest story. We were told as kids that these pilgrims who had just come to this new country where there are people already there were about to starve through the winter. But these nice people who were in their country, even though it was their country, helped them make it through the winter.
Yeah.
And they repaid them by slaughtering their people.
This is a stupid story. That's a dumb story. And what we've always done, we get it with the founding fathers. The founding fathers are these beautiful people that believed in freedom, even though they owned slaves. And you know, the guy who wrote it raped his enslaved person and had a whole bunch of children with it. But we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. And so we end up, when people look at America and Europe, because we're just a part of the West, we're an extension of Europe, or it's a European country. When they look at America, Canada, all these countries that there were already people there and then they showed up, and then we come up with these origin stories like America started in 1776. and before 1492, nothing was really happening over there, even though they had Aztecs who had bigger kingdoms than even the Europeans and all this kind of stuff. We'll just wipe that out, and we'll just go and do this. So what you end up doing is those partial facts, those things like Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, even though he wanted us to go back to Africa. So what they ended up doing is you push all that stuff together, and then you got people talking about, I'm not going to wear a mask because Trump was held back from the 2020 election, which he actually won. And so that's why I'm not wearing a mask. Like, what? The scientists say this, but I went on YouTube and this dude, double boob, blah, 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 told me this. And this is what happens when you build your entire concept off of lies.
Yeah.
And then you top it off. You top it off with the devil's bargain that happened. This is why what I said earlier with the generation before us, they went from horrible to not so horrible, right? But what they didn't do is admit and talk about their pain and suffering, because they were doing better than with these white folks than what they were doing before. So these white folks end up growing up telling us not to tell us, tell us the truth. And then what do they turn around and do? They sit there and they just excretion, just throw up all over anything that we have to say. So now these idiots are out in school boards taking over, talking about, I don't want CRT. This is what happens. None of this stuff makes any sense. You have to be a lawyer to take CRT. You have to be an actual freaking lawyer, not an undergrad, an actual lawyer.
They took a single concept and they made it into a whole political thing.
They make everything into it. We celebrated Thanksgiving, which is the stupidest story of all time.
Don't use that story.
Huh?
I don't use that story. Well, no, even Columbus Day, I think it's called Indigenous
People Day.
Indigenous People Day.
Right. They complain about that. It's like he never made it up here.
Never made it anywhere. None of them made it anywhere.
Columbus is actually it's a unique story because it's turned early 20th century, like 1920s or something, and the Italians felt that they were being seen as less than. So they got together their coalition. They didn't care who it was, but they're going to say how Italians helped be a part of the making of America. They picked Columbus, even though Columbus was trash in his own time.
And also.
Huh?
And he was Spanish. Go ahead.
He wasn't. He was Italian. The Spanish paid for it.
Columbus?
Columbus was Italian. The Spanish paid for it. Queen Isabella and Ferdinand were the ones that paid for his so-called expedition. And so it's the whole point was to have an Italian holiday. So because this is the time when New York Times is talking about the food has too much garlic in it. They are lazy people. The Italians have actually had this a lot from the like early 1900s until and the police force as we know it, not the original one, which was played based off of slave catchers, but the police force as we know it was created for Italians and Irish. And it was because of the gang stuff during that stuff.
Right.
Then they turned around and hired Italians and Irish who were like, hey, you know, this police thing is making us look bad. So why don't we turn it on the blacks?
Well, you know, there's got to be a pecking order.
Yeah, but the whole reason why they did Columbus Day is to have an American thing. The most important thing for the Italian diaspora, and I'm not talking about Italian people, I'm talking about individual groups of people that felt that they needed to push the Italian narrative forward. But the most important thing for them was The Godfather, because The Godfather made you be Italian and American straight off. That's the reason why Michael Corleone has the American uniform when he goes to the wedding in the beginning. And is the most important thing for that. After that, rap, they became white people 100%.
Oh well.
Yeah, beautiful.
Christmas is gonna be fun though.
Christmas is gonna be great. I'll be chilling at home, watching basketball, rooting for whoever I want to lose. Because my Pistons are.
Let's go, Bulls! Let's go, Bulls!
Yeah. I don't watch sports, but there are some Christmas shows that I'm sure are gonna come on. Like
the Christmas Story. They're doing a re-up on the Christmas Story, like an extension.
See,
look up the like a part 2 or down the road type thing.
Come on, no, I don't.
No, it actually looks good. It actually looks good. It actually looks good.
It actually looks good. All right.
Yeah. Look it up.
If it ain't, I'm coming after you and your kids and the dog.
I thought Coming to America too looked good too.
Right.
But
oh wow!
Thank you. Hello. That's right.
I'm sorry. I'm worried about the safety of my dog and children right now.
I like how the dog was first. Oh,
no, second.
Dog and children.
My children and my dog.
And the dog. That's right. Dog was gonna have to watch.
She couldn't take that New York out of her.
She
couldn't take that New York out of her.
Maybe an extension of this talk of the Italians and all that. We'll talk about more about actual Christmas stuff. But you know, that's a whole nother conversation for less
actual Christmas stuff.
Saturnalia.
We have
Saturnalia.
We will have another Saturday when we can do hopefully before the New Year's we can try to get together, depending on how you guys New Year's are. Otherwise, we can roll this up in January.
I got a puppy. I ain't got jack to do.
But we gonna be. But we do. I think
it's on a Saturday, right?
Huh?
New Year's on Saturday.
No, Christmas is on Saturday. I'm not sure.
New Year's
the New Year's is on Saturday.
Whatever Christmas is. New Year's.
Yeah. So y'all. Yeah. So at this,
I don't celebrate Christmas.
I'll be at work, so
I will be.
I call it.
Wait, work on Christmas?
You gonna work on Christmas, Carl?
You should.
I'm pretty sure I would.
You gonna be putting out fires?
He doesn't put out fires.
Hey, people burn stuff every day.
What happened was
just because it's Christmas, but
and I guess people gonna still fly. So he got.
I don't work there anymore.
Happened because of Christmas.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. You did. Okay.
Oh yeah, Christmas is a fire hazard.
Yeah.
That's all them lights.
It's like Christmas, Thanksgiving.
They so pretty,
they still have me scheduled to go in. Yeah.
Drop them turkeys in that hot grease. Go ahead.
Wait, okay, because I was gonna close.
But wait, why does it do that? I don't understand. Why do people keep trying to kill themselves with the fried
oil
turkey?
And water don't mix, right?
Yeah.
They don't dry off the bird. They don't measure. They don't measure how. The thing is, you're supposed to put the bird in, fill it up with water, take the bird out, and measure how much water is left. That is how much oil should go in the pot. and then you dry off, because you just like with anything wet. If you drop a drop of water into some oil, it's gonna pop. Now you got a whole pot full of oil, and you're trying to dip a wet bird. I saw these explosions. Oh my gosh!
So that's the thing. It's two different things going on. Okay, you got the wet bird, hot oil, right? That's a fire right there. But then you got or like not an actual fire, but a reaction, right?
The combustion.
You got you got that reaction, and then you got the oil bubbling over with what underneath it? Fire. So what do you think the oil is going to do?
What you're saying is that air fryers are the answer.
No.
If you got one, air fryer is the way to go. I don't know that they make one that a turkey.
That's why I've been waiting for Dee to come back on.
All right, but I do want to get
Air
back
Fryer
to
Nation.
Yes,
soon.
sir. Yes, sir.
Soon.
But speaking of which, I have to go because I have to be at work in a couple hours. So
and you
I'm
need
going
to
to go
test
sleep.
he stayed awake this whole time for this, and I'm very happy. But I'm going to close that
I haven't been
anyway.
asleep yet.
I am so glad you guys are here. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I think I'm going to take a lot of great clips from all the other ones and put them together and put it up on Christmas Day.
That would be awesome.
That's what I'm gonna do. And then we all can get back together in January, and y'all can tell me how much y'all drank and how much you remember from your New Year's Eve.
I don't do that.
I won't be drinking on the holiday, right? Because
you will not. Of course not, because you will be at work. You will
not
be
putting out flyers. Not
Kev, they
putting
should
out
give you
fires.
some of the holidays off. You shouldn't have to work every holiday. They don't have no more firefighters.
He should work because he doesn't put out fires. Like he started in the beginning.
He's a black firefighter.
Did you put a fire out? And he was like, well, we let it burn out.
Okay, so see, sometimes
he's a black firefighter. They make him put out all the fires by himself.
To let it burn.
They put him in first.
Sometimes there's a word in there. See, sometimes you go in there, you trying to extinguish things that the Lord put in place. See, and sometimes you're trying to extinguish it on your own. You're not supposed to extinguish.
I am not. I'm gonna have a block on you showing up to my Swedish apartment. Put it out, because that's gonna just mess up my whole day. I've got stuff in here that I care about that I don't want to get ruined, like my Xbox.
And the dog.
Dog gonna be outside. Dog will let us know. That's the whole purpose of a dog. We'll be outside, and then I would talk to people that don't believe in letting my apartment burn. Not people like you. The Lord, come on, man.
You want new stuff anyway, right? You want new stuff. You got insurance.
Nope. Don't want new stuff.
I'm gonna let them argue.
Don't want new stuff.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday, a safe, happy, and literally a healthy New Year. Y'all don't be getting nothing that you ain't left with from the new, y'all come in clean in 2022. All right, don't.
I made it this far. Will not get COVID is my whole point.
There you go.
I've never gotten it. Don't want to get it. Don't want to know it. It can just leave me alone.
I want that Coco 19.
It can just leave you alone. Coco what?
Someone said
Coco 19.
Someone said, please get vaccinated so that I can stop learning parts of the Greek alphabet. I don't need to know the whole one.
Is it that part? Order like tropical storms where they start at alpha? Beta,
yeah, they start at A. They start A and they use women's names like Alma. They go Alma, Betty.
No, that's not true.
These coming, huh?
There's been Carlos and all kinds.
Yeah, there's some Carloses and some David.
And that was just racist because it was a hurricane. That was just racist. Look at what Carlos did. The lazy, good for nothing hurricane. Look at it.
Ain't better than Angelique said. Angelique said, I fell to the fire talking about let it burn.
Still got your job, Kev.
Look at him. Admitting wrongdoing and still working.
They frying them turkeys, you're going to have a job, my man.
We're cooking s'mores. There's got to be the hat just taking off.
Hey, we keep a case of hot dogs in a cooler on the truck.
Oh, no. This is where do you live? I'm never going there.
It's not important where he lives. Don't worry about where he lives.
You live where he lives?
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I'm not going there.
I
They
smell
just in
insurance
different
fraud.
Opposite sides of the state, so
I
you
am
know.
not going
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Opposite sides of the state. Yeah.
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 Oh, okay, y'all stay right there. So glad
Thank
to
you,
see y'all.
Jermaine.
Happy
Thank you,
New
Jermaine.
Year. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you
Thanks
in
for having me.
2022.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
thank
late.
you, Jermaine.
Bye-bye. Y'all stay there. Bye.